The next components we will discuss are the fruit and vegetable components. There will be questions at the end of this section to practice your knowledge. The Dietary Guidelines for Americans recommends 2.5 cups of vegetables and 2 cups of fruit per day for a 2,000 calorie diet. Most people are not eating enough vegetables and fruits, and the vegetables and fruits that are eaten are too often prepared with added salt, sugar, solid fat, and refined starch. To help promote increased consumption of vegetables and fruits, the new meal pattern now separates the vegetable and fruit component into 2 components. It also limits the service of juice to once per day. 100% full-strength juice may count as either the fruit or vegetable component, a maximum of once per day. The new meal pattern has also changed how leafy greens and dried fruit contribute to the meal pattern. Fruits and vegetables are required components at breakfast, lunch, and supper, and may be served as one or both of the 2 required components for snack. At breakfast, sponsors or providers may choose to serve either a fruit or a vegetable. Lunch and supper must contain at least 1 vegetable and 1 additional fruit or vegetable. Programs may choose to serve 2 vegetables at lunch and supper rather than a serving of vegetables and a serving of fruit. However, operators cannot serve 2 fruits. When 2 vegetables are served at lunch or supper, they must be 2 different kinds of vegetables. At snack, a vegetable and fruit are considered separate food components, and in the appropriate minimum serving sizes is reimbursable. As separate food components, both a vegetable and a fruit may be served at snack. During the commenting period of the meal pattern development, it became apparent to the USDA that offering 2 vegetables at lunch and supper were important to sponsors and providers. Because of this, a vegetable may be used to meet the entire fruit component at lunch or supper. If a sponsor chooses to serve a vegetable in place of the fruit component, it must be at least the same serving size as the fruit component it is replacing, and the sponsor must offer 2 different types of vegetables. For example, 2 servings of carrots would not credit. Mixed fruit and vegetable dishes, such as carrot raisin salads, may credit for both the fruit and vegetable components as long as they contain at least 1/8 cup of both vegetable and fruit in easily identifiable forms. Vegetable mixes, such as broccoli and cauliflower mixes, may also credit for the vegetable component and substitute for the fruit component at lunch and supper if they contain at least 1/8 cup of 2 different types of vegetables. This is because a vegetable can replace the fruit component for lunch and supper. For mixed fruit and vegetable dishes, the quantities of the different fruits and vegetables must be known in order to be considered creditable. This means that pre-mixed vegetable mixtures, such as frozen carrots and peas, cannot credit for 2 different vegetables. Juice is a source of essential nutrients. However, it lacks the dietary fiber that fills participants up. Let's look at 100% apple juice in comparison to a whole apple. In an 8-ounce glass of 100% apple juice, there are 110 calories and 0 grams of fiber. In a medium-sized whole apple, there are 95 calories with 4.4 grams of fiber. Juice may only be served at 1 meal or snack per day. AM snack and PM snack are considered 2 different meal service times, while lunches served in 2 shifts are considered 1 meal service. Note that fresh, frozen, or canned pureed fruits and vegetables used in smoothies are counted towards the once per day juice limit. Juice blends can credit as a fruit component or a vegetable component. To determine what food component a juice blend contributes to, you will look to the ingredient list. If there are more fruit than vegetables in the ingredient list, it contributes to the fruit component. If there are more vegetables than fruit in the ingredient list, it contributes to the vegetable components. For blends that have equal amounts of fruit and vegetable, go with the first ingredient on the label. As of October 1st, 2017, there are crediting changes to the following items. 1 cup of raw leafy greens, such as lettuce and raw spinach, count as a ½ cup of vegetables, whereas a ½ cup of cooked leafy greens credits as a ½ cup of vegetables. 1/4 of a cup of dried fruit now equals a half a cup of fruit. These changes align with the National School Lunch Program meal pattern. There will be times that you will come across a food item in the fruit and vegetable components that you may ask, does this credit as a fruit or a vegetable? The following resources are available to sponsors to assist in answering that question. CACFP sponsors can use the electronic food buying guide as well as choosemyplate.gov. Let's look at the following ingredient list. Green juice. Ingredients: juices: celery, apple, cucumber, spinach, romaine lettuce, kale, lime, lemon, and parsley. What food component would you say that this juice contributes to? If you said vegetable, you are correct. There are 6 vegetables listed and only 3 fruits. Now let's look at the ingredients for the strawberry banana juice. Ingredients: strawberry, banana, carrots, raspberries, kale. What component? Correct, fruit. Now let's look at the ingredient list for kiwi strawberry punch. Ingredients: water, high fructose corn syrup, citric acid, xanthan gum, corn oil, potassium citrate, food starch modified. What component does this credit for? If you said this is not creditable, you are correct. Why is it not creditable? Because it is not 100% fruit or juice or vegetable juice. In this section, you learn that vegetables and fruits now make up 2 different components. In addition, you learn that juice may now only be served once a day. Finally, you learn that leafy greens and dried fruit have had their crediting changed. The next section will be on grains.